Okay, so continuing with our linear function application problems, the first couple that we did, we were given the equation and we just had to basically do the interpreting of the slope and the intercepts. Now we're actually going to have to come up with the equations on our own from the given information. So the last time we had a mountain climber going up a hill, now we have a skier going down the hill. So a skier gets off a chairlift and begins skiing down the mountain at a rate of 125 feet per minute. After 6 minutes, the skier reaches an altitude of 2,500 feet. So what was the skier's initial altitude? And write the equation on the line that gives the skier's altitude after X minutes of skiing down the mountain. So first thing again that we do is we look for key phrases and words. And in this case, the key phrase is 125 feet per minute down the mountain, rate. So remember, when we saw the rate, in this case 125 feet per minute, that's going to be the key that it's going to be our slope. So the slope is 125, but skiers going down the mountain, so their elevation is decreasing. It's a decreasing line. So m would be negative 125. And then what happens is they have to give us some other kind of information so that we can create an equation from. And the other information is that after 6 minutes, the skier reaches an altitude of 2,500 feet. So what that does is that gives us an ordered pair, because what we're doing is we're making the x value the number of minutes skiing down, and the y value being the current altitude. So in this case, the ordered pair would be 6 comma 2,500. So what we can do now is we can get the equation by first finding the initial altitude, and the initial altitude, again, that's going to be your b value, right, your y-intercept. So what we do is we write our y equals mx plus b equation, and in the place of m we have negative 125, in the place of y we have 2,500, and in the place of x we have 6. So we just write that equation, and then we'll solve that equation for b. So this is 2,500 equals negative 125 times 6. That's negative 750 plus b, and then we just add 750 on both sides. So we add 750 and we get 3,250. So the skier's initial altitude was 3,250 feet, right? Because it is an altitude. So we want to actually give the units. So b is 3,250, and now that's all we need to write the equation, because we knew the slope was negative 125. We found the y-intercept was 3,250. So the equation that models this situation is y equals negative 125x plus 3,250. And then now we can answer another question based on that, right? Now, normally when you're skiing, you're not at, sea level. So the base elevation of the mountain is probably not 0. So in this case, the base elevation of the mountain is 1,900 feet. So how long will it take for this skier to get down the mountain? Well, what you do is you realize that this is just a specific y value. So how long? You're going to find the x. So they're giving you a y value, so you're replacing y with 1,900, and you're going to find the x value that corresponds to this. We'd subtract 3,250 and we get negative 1,350, and then we divide by negative 125. So it's not going to be an exact value, but 1,350 divided by 125, if we punch it in, 10.8. So that means how long will it take? 10.8 minutes. And don't try to get cute and turn it into minutes and seconds. Just say it's 10.8 minutes. All right, so it takes 10.8 minutes for the skier to get down the mountain. Okay, so last one. The price of a minivan has risen at a constant rate. And again, constant rate, they're just basically telling you that it's linear. That's what a constant rate is. It has a constant slope since its initial year of manufacture. After 3 years, the price was 21,000. After 7 years, the price was 23,400. So what we're going to have to do in this case is we're going to have to identify two ordered pairs that you can use to model to first find the slope, because we don't have the slope or the y-intercept in this point. So what we do have is 3 years, $21,000, and we have 7 years, $23,400. So we're letting x be the number of years and y be the price. So the 2 points are going to be 3, 21,000, and 7, 23,400. So now that we have 2 points, now we just treat it like a regular non-application problem, right? I mean, how do you find the slope? Just use your slope formula. So we're going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and we're just going to use these 2 points. So we're going to get 2,400 over 4, which is 600, but this is now measured in, the numerator had dollars in it, and the denominator had years in it. So this is $600 per year. So what that means is the price is increasing by $600 per year. All right, and this means, the current model year is going to be $600 more than the previous model year, right? So each model year, the price is increasing by $600. And then what's the y-intercept? Well, now we just go back to what we did last time because we have the slope, so we can write our y equals mx plus b equation, replacing m with 600 and then just x and y with one of the other points. So we can use the first point, I guess, 21,000. So we'll replace y with 21,000 and x with 3 and m with 600. So we have that equation, and now we'll just simplify it and solve for b. So b ends up being $19,200, and $19,200, what it means in this case is that was the price in the initial year, right? So the price in the initial year was $19,200. Okay? And now we can just write the equation because we have the slope and the y-intercept. So we have the slope is 600, the y-intercept is 19,200. So we can just write the equation as y equals 600x plus 19,200. And then after how many years, so in other words, which x gives us a price or a y of 27,000. So we're going to replace y with 27,000 and solve for x. And we end up getting x equals 13. So 13 years after the initial year, right? 13 years after the initial year, it's going to reach $27,000. So that's it. So you basically see it's the same process as when you're just given points, except that you just have to identify what are the points that are given to you, what's the slope when it's given to you, what's the y-intercept when it's given to you, things like this.